I don't know why, but I suddenly had the urge to do Plants vs. Zombies plant tier list, so we're gonna do a tier list of every plant from the first game. And I guess we're starting off with Blover. World 4 is my favorite world, so let's see how that goes. First off, Blover. It is, well, pretty useful, but only in one world. Give it a B tier. It gets rid of all the fog and all the flying zombies, and is honestly a better pick overall compared to Planter and Cactus. I mean, I really like Cactus in Plants vs. Zombies 2, but in the first game, he's okay. But Blover is really good. B tier, solid B tier. Cherry Bomb, A tier, nothing more to say. It just works sometimes. And it won't have you drowning in debt either because of its slow recharge. Which I know doesn't sound good, but considering how much this thing costs, it's worth it. Anyway, I don't have much to say about it. Good area damage. A really good all around trick card. Anyway, I would say Cactus is a D tier. Don't get me wrong, it's not that bad. It's better than, no, it's worse than Peashooter, but not that much worse. It's completely outclassed by the Blover. And it's kind of just like a more expensive Peashooter, basically. So overall, not that useful. Because if you want to get rid of balloon zombies, just use the Blover. Just a way better option. Cabbage Pult. What's more to say? C tier. It is solid through and through. Actually, let's give it a B tier for being slightly better than Peashooter, which is going to end up in C tier. Solid all around, and it works in every single world, and not just, it's like the Peashooter, but it actually works in the rooftop world, as opposed to not working in the rooftop world. So it gets a boost just by that. Chomper. Solid B tier. Takes too long to regenerate, but as long as you have a good defense, it can actually be really good. And it can be really good against Gargantuars if you can delay them. Okay. So, how about Cobb Cannon? Well, there's one thing I gotta say about Cobb Cannon. Well, he's actually really hard to rank. You see, he costs way too much sun with it totaling around 700. But once you get it out there, it recharges quick enough to where it really doesn't. You know what? I'll give it a C tier. Not the best, but not bad either. Once you get it out there, you get a good bang for your buck, but it takes a while. Coffee bean is also really hard to rank because it depends what you're using it on. So let's go over to my handy chart and see just how many things it's actually worth using on. Well, definitely not worth using on puff shroom or sun shroom. Sun shroom's just not as good as sunflower in most worlds, except for the night worlds where you're not even going to be using coffee bean anyway. I'm not spending 75 sun on a puff shroom. It is very good on fume shroom. I'm definitely willing to spend that much on a fume shroom because fume shroom is just that good. And I must say, ice shroom and doom shroom and hypno shroom too, but not scary shroom. You know what? B tier it is. We'll give it a B tier. Anyway, Doom Shroom. Well, it does a lot of damage. And in 2 worlds, it's actually cheaper than the... It's actually cheaper than the Cherry Bomb, but also does more damage. But there is the whole crater thing. So it also gets a B tier, just because it causes craters. It would be a solid S tier if not for the craters. Kernel Pulse. A tier. Butter solves everything. It's one thing you have to know. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and butter solves everything. Alright, so let me explain. You can delay almost anything with the butter. Just freeze it in place. Done. No problem. It's that easy. It may do a little bit less damage, apparently. I guess it does. That's a risk I'm willing to take. So it is like my go-to, is like one of my go-to shooting plants. My other one being Fume Shroom. Sometimes. If I really need it. Fume Shroom in the night worlds is so reliable. And the night worlds are my favorite, so that's a thing to consider. Fume Shroom in the night worlds. Because area damage is so useful when there's onslaughts of zombies coming at you. So the fact that the Fume Shroom helps with that gives it a high ranking in my book. Garlic. C tier, just kind of mediocre, mostly because it actually moves the zombies forward a little bit when it moves. Actually, wait. You know what? No, let's leave it in C tier. Gatling Pea. Good old heavy weapons guy, Peashooter. Well, if it wasn't for its high sun cost, it would be an easy S tier. It is great, though. And if you can gather that much sun, it is worth it. Throughout. Let's give it an A tier. Bloom Shroom. I'll give it a B tier. It's very useful in All Night Worlds. All Night Worlds, it's amazing. Worlds 2 and 4. Excellent. The other worlds, it's a little too expensive. Especially for something with such low range. It has about the same sun cost as the Gatling Pea, but that's not worth it most of the time. But this thing can really shred through things if they come too close. So it's still extremely viable in a lot of cases. Here comes Gold Magnet. Well, for Gold Magnet, I have opened up a new tier. Well, just for Gold Magnet and a few other plants. Marigold tier. For all the plants that, like Marigold, are completely useless. Like, completely. What is the point of this? Who needs this? Who needs... Just leave your magnet shrooms how they are. They're better off that way. Who needs the gold magnet? It is like the worst plant ever. If you don't think I can just, like, tap on, like, I don't know, the 5 coins that come up every round, I don't know. Not even that many in the first place. Like, seriously. Who is lazy enough to need, like, something else to pick up coins for them? Anyway. Marigold tier. It's gonna have to be Marigold tier. Flower Pot. C tier. Only works in one world. Only has a purpose in one world. But it's still good in that one world. Because you literally can't go without it in that one world. So I'd say it is just solid. It is a solid jack-of-all-trades plant. I mean, no, it's not really a plant. But it does have a cute little face. Gravebuster. I mean... Okay, it's definitely more useful in Plants vs. Zombies 2. And it's only useful in one world, so, D tier. Just isn't that good. Graves aren't really a problem that much. I mean, they do spawn zombies, but that's about it. Alright. Well. Hypno Shroom. Now, there's only one thing I don't like about Hypno Shroom. And that's the fact that it has to... Like, you really have to play it at the front. At the very front of the board. Because if you play it anywhere else, it doesn't do anything. Like, because it's more useless the farther down you put it, because your plants will be damaging the eventually hypnotized zombie that's going to be coming near it to be hypnotized. But I'll give it a C tier. Just because sometimes it can actually be very rewarding to use in a few situations. Ice Shroom. amazing. What's more to say? It freezes like every zombie on the entire map. Who does not want this? No, A tier. It's A tier. Wait a minute. No, I wouldn't put it in S tier. It's just A tier. But you know what does go in S tier? Imitator. One of the most versatile plants. It's just plain useful. What do I have to say? What is more to say here? Useful. It just is, because it lets you copy another one of that plant to put it down faster. If there's a really good S tier plant that I really want down somewhere, I get more of it now. That's really cool. Especially if it's a high sun cost, like really expensive plant. Like, I don't want to have to like pay a lot for the plant and then wait a long time for the recharge. I can do both. That is really annoying sometimes. This eases that, sort of. Well, it eases the recharge thing, not the time. It eases the recharge thing, not the sun cost problem. But there are plans to fix that. Okay. Well, next up we got Cattail. Actually, wait, let me check something. How much does Cattail cost? Because that is the determiner of where I place Cattail. It's not as much a solid damage dealer as, Gatling Pea. But its homing ability is good. 225. Well, I would place it. So that's a total of 250. I'll place it in A tier. I'll put it in A tier. Jalapeno. Only one thing I gotta say about Jalapeno. Great area damage. Cheaper than the cherry bomb. That's Jalapeno's S tier. By far. Like, it clears out an entire lane. And usually, the main threats are stationed lane by lane instead of, 3x3 radius in the first place, so it's more useful just because of that. Anyway, Lily Pad. See, I would put it in C tier with the flower pot, but it's useful in one more world, but also only on certain tiles. Oh wait, okay, it's B tier just because it's useful in more than one world for putting other plants on top of it in the water, because you can't put a lot of plants in the water. There's like only 2 other plants that actually go in the water. Well, I guess you count Cattail as well. There's only Tango Kelp, Cattail, and Sea Shroom, and that's it. So Yeah. Magnet Shroom. A tier, so useful in a lot of situations. Especially with those jack-in-the-box zombies. You're gonna want a Magnet Shroom so they don't just blow up your entire thing. And if they're guarded by other zombies, and it happens to take their defenses first, that's also very useful. Like, this thing gets through defense like it's nothing. Just by stealing it, basically. So that's cool. I think you know where Marigold's going. All the way down to Marigold tier. Anyway, Melon Pult. Melon Pult is, to say the least, really expensive. But once you get it out there, it is great. It is, hands down, amazing when it's out there. So it gets a B tier. 300 Sun is a lot, but once it's out there, it is really good. Does a lot of damage. Does a lot of splash damage. It's like a grape shot. I don't mean the grape shot from Plants vs. Zombies 2. I mean like an actual grape shot. Like that they used to use in like the Civil War in the 1800s and all the 1600s or whatever. Those grape shots. That's what this thing is like. Anyway, it's very useful. Recommend it a lot. It is a shame about the cost, though. Other than that, it is amazing. Peashooter. A good starter plant, but like, there's so many better options once you actually get into it. It doesn't do that much damage. It just doesn't. And for that, I have to put it in C tier. It's not the best, but it's not horrible either. It's just kinda good, but not too good. Torchwood is A tier. Solely because if there's a Torchwood, a C tier Peashooter becomes an A tier Fire Peashooter. So that's the thing. Torchwood, amazing. For allowing your peas to do more damage. It's a great thing to have. Anyway, here we go. Wait, where'd I put this? Okay. Now, Lantern. F tier. Just use Blover if you want to get rid of fog. Just use Blover instead of Cactus to get rid of, balloon zombies. The only reason Cactus is a tier higher is because it still serves another purpose. It's just that there's better things out there that serve that purpose. Potato Mine. Potato Mine's a tricky one to place. But I'm gonna have to say B tier. It takes a little while to, charge up, and that's kind of annoying. But once it's out there, it's amazing. It just is. It's solid. It does some good damage. And isn't single target like someone. Squash. Anyway. Puff Shroom. Well, I gotta say, on night maps, it's great, but everywhere else, trash. Night maps, it's amazing, like, really cool, because it not only... I would give this in S tier, if not for the fact that it only has its great utility on night worlds. So it's an S tier on night worlds, but basically a D tier everywhere else. So for that, I'm just gonna have to give it down one tier. Still amazing though. Puff Shroom, great spam ability. Because it costs 0 sun. So you can just put down as many as you want. Even though they're weak and don't have good range. They can be put down so often that makes them that alone makes them useful. And that's why I put them there. Like I would have put Fume Shroom in S tier if not for it costs more in other worlds. Pumpkin. Pumpkin's in S tier. No question about it. It's worth the 125 for that more space. Look at how many plants we've ranked so far. Look at them. Actually, ignore the D tier stuff, the F tier stuff, and the Marigold tier stuff. But all of this, look how much. This is the stuff I'd actually use. It's good. It is solid. Wait. That's a lot of plants. And if you want to use a lot of plants, you're gonna need something called the pumpkin. It's definitely more worth the 125 than the Talnut is. I'd rather spend 125 on a pumpkin than a Talnut in most situations. Repeater. What's more to say? It's expensive, but it's worth it. Let me tell ya. You got one of these, you're going places. You just are. You got one of these set up, great. It's going to be useful. 2 peas at once. Amazing. It just is. It does more damage than the Peashooter. So it'll help you through a lot. It's definitely an upgrade to the Peashooter. And you need it to make the Gatling Pea anyway, so you know, it's good. Now, Scary Shroom is a tough one to rate because I like having a Peashooter that only costs like 25 sun. But that's the thing. The fact that it doesn't, it is worse than the Peashooter in a lot of ways. No, in just one way. It hides. So the thing is, it costs the same as the Peashooter in other worlds, in which case I'm not going to be using the basic Peashooter because there are better options. But that's the thing. These are a great tool to use in night worlds because they're the only like shooter you can get like in the mushroom category that has infinite range, like a Peashooter, but it's cheaper. It's only 25 sun. So for that, I would give it an A tier. But the thing is, it's only useful in certain worlds. And I guess since the Peashooter is... Actually, should I get it B tier or C tier? It's great in these worlds, but it's great in night worlds, but trash in other worlds. Well, not trash, but just there's better options in other worlds. So actually, I'm just gonna put it right beside Peashooter in C tier. It would be B tier, possibly even A tier if it retained its cheap cost and usefulness throughout all worlds. But you know, in daytime worlds, you need the coffee bean, and then it costs the same as a Peashooter. So it's not worth it in other worlds, but in night worlds, it is amazing. Just not as good as the Puff Shroom in that same area. So it gets a C tier, but I do like the Scaredy Shroom. Actually, I'm gonna give it B tier. I just like it. I like the night worlds, and that's a useful tool for the night worlds. I've always liked Scaredy Shroom. And it's no different with C Shroom either. C Shroom gets its place right next to Puff Shroom in A tier. It's the same thing, but it works in the water. So it's good. It's got the same spam ability as Puff Shroom, but it works in the water. So it's 0 sun, works in the water. Great, just like Puff Shroom, but in the sea. So I'm putting it in the same tier because of that. And another thing that's the same thing as something else that's also going in A tier. The snow pea. Because, like the repeater, it's a direct upgrade to the Peashooter. Just in a different way. Instead of doing more damage, it applies a slowing status effect. And I'm always... And you know, because I put Kernel Pult here, you know that I like plants that, although they do less damage, they provide a status effect. It's cool. I like it. Anyway. A tier for Spikeweed. As well, because it's just plain useful. It's a good, solid damage dealer. Can't be destroyed by most things. One-hit kills. Zombonis. Great. It just is. Only costs 100 sun. Cool. But what about Spike Rock? Well, I'm gonna have to say, let's see, sun cost 125. It does more damage, but its cost is a shame, I guess. So we're gonna put it right down in. Let's line these up. We're gonna put it right down in A tier with Spikeweed. Split Pea. Another fog plant. And you know I really like those. It is B tier. It only shows its usefulness on one general area, but in that area it is amazing. So, the thing I like, and I had to rank it above Peashooter as well. The thing I like about Split Pea, well, I also like Starfruit. It's almost the same amount. But here's the thing about Split Pea. It hits from behind, good against minor zombies, which you really need to watch out for in these kinds of worlds. And it is a solid choice, especially with a pumpkin on it. You know, sometimes you need a defense from behind. And this has got you covered. And only for 25 more sun. Which is a really good bargain for like the amazing thing that you're getting. And that's why it ranks so high. It would rank higher if it showed usefulness on other worlds, but it is really good. Because you really need a defense against those minor zombies. They can get you. But this thing's got you. It's got you covered. Just like squash, kind of. I'm going to place it in the same tier as potato mine because it's basically the same thing. It just lands on the zombies instead of blowing them up. It goes on top while the potato mine goes below. But hey, they're the same thing, so, you know, whatever. It gets the same ranking. You know what else gets the same ranking as something else? Starfruit. It's also useful. It's also useful in night worlds. I mean, in the fog world for taking out minor zombies. I think it shows usefulness outside of that world. Honestly, getting pole halter zombies from the back is also useful with these things. So, you know, both of them get the same tier. Get both Split Pea and Starfruit get B tier. Both useful for taking out zombies that usually go behind all defenses. But, you know, Starfruit doesn't shoot straight, so that's bad. It shoots in 5 directions, but not straight. So that's a problem. So that's why, in any case, I feel like you do need a combination of these two. Of Split Pea and Starfruit. A good combination of the two will do you really well in World 4. And maybe in some other worlds too. Like with the ladder zombies and the pole vaulters and pogo zombies and such. Anyway. Sunshroom, C tier. Actually, yeah, C tier. It's kind of underwhelming. I mean, it's useful in night worlds, and that's about it. Similarly to the Puff Shroom and Sea Shroom. But unlike that, I'm not like, wow, this is really cool, you know? Like, there's nothing really special about it. At all. Anyway, we got good old Sunflower. What's more to say? It's Sunflower. It's reliable. It gives you extra sun, which you're gonna need. Like I said, to buy all these things I ranked. Right here. Sometimes you just need a little boost there, and it is what you start off with before eventually buying the double sunflower and being like, this is much better. But, like, it's reliable throughout the game. It's cheaper than the twin sunflower, and much better than the sunshroom. Anyway. Talnut. What's to say about the Talnut that already hasn't been said? It is... I mean, it's a good defense. It's sturdy, solid. Whenever zombies come your way, or tries to go over it, it doesn't work. You know, that's useful. If there's a pole vaulting zombie, they can't pole vault over it, it doesn't work because this thing is so tall. So we're gonna put it in B tier, along with Walnut, because why not? They're both useful, except one is cheaper. The Walnut is cheaper. They're both very useful defenses, though. And basically, I mean, they just are. But they pale in comparison to Pumpkin. Except for two areas. For the Walnut, that's cost, and for the Talnut, that's blocking flying zombies. Alright then. It looks like we've only got 5 more to go. So let's go through them quick. Tango Kelp. Do lightning round. Tango Kelp. That goes right in A tier with its brothers, Potato Mine and Squash. Tango Kelp goes right alongside them in B tier because it does the same thing but in the water. So it's just as useful. 3-peater, C tier, not better than the Peashooter, way too expensive. And all for what? Just for what? Why? It's just not that good. Why would you need it? It costs too much. Also, I'm gonna put Sunflower in. Wait. Sunflower gets all the way up to A tier now, actually. Our next two S tiers. Twin Sunflower and Umbrella Leaf. Umbrella Leaf helps out so much in the later worlds. See, I would give it a lower ranking for only being useful in one world, like I did with some other plants that are only useful in one world. But the difference here is that it's like so essential compared to those other things that its usefulness is amplified because of it. Because there's so many things flying over you. They're spawning faster, by the way, as well, because, you know, it's World 5. It's the final one. Everything's coming at you. More of it's coming at you. So it's helpful to have this thing guard you from above. You know, because there's like 1,000 things coming at you from above, like the pogos, the catapult zombies, the bungee zombies, the imps even. The imps that fly in when a Gargantuar throws them. It's all useful against all these things. Keep spawning, that won't stop spawning. And it's very useful because of that. Now, here's where I would place Winter Melon. It is, like, really good, but its cost holds it back. The fact that it costs 500 sun in total, like, I really don't like that. But hey, I'll place it in B tier, right next to none other than Watermelon. Halt. Or, Wait, Melon pulled. Whatever. Anyway, that is the finalized list. What do you think? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments if you agree with my ranking. Most plants are B and A tier, which is pretty good. Wait. So that's good. Let's see. Does anyone agree with my ranking here? Anyway, that's it. That's all from me. I'm Mr. Gaming, and I don't do fancy outros. Ding, 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 ding.